Take a look at what it takes to, for lack of a better phrase, go pro with Blender. To kick it up a notch, kick up your workflow so you're using Blender in even a higher level of professional uh, uh, skill set. Okay, so let's look what we have right here. I have a cube in the default scene. If I go to front view right here and zoom in, so I'm just pinching out, going the front view with 1, pressing the 1 key and zooming out. What we're about to do right here is to just start getting a sense of what you would have to do to make a character really from a cube. How could that work out? So what we're going to do here initially is just get familiar with some of these concepts. So I am going to, before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and press alternate, tilt it down a little bit, give you a little bit of that kind of perspective. We'll jump out of that in just a moment. But right now I want you to see that. If I press Z, it puts it in wireframe mode. If I press Z again, it puts it back in solid rendering mode. So this is wireframe, this is solid rendering. By pressing Z, it toggles that. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by pressing Z, and then I'm going to go to front view, and then I'll go to orthographic view. For right now, I'm going to press 5 to go to orthographic view. And then I'll deselect everything with A, and I will go into edit mode by tabbing. I'll deselect everything again, and then I will box select, press B, and I'll just box select the top up here. And just these top vertices at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and press Control R, and I will make a ring right here. And I'm just going to use it right in the middle, so I have this kind of like pink line that appears vertically. I'm going to hit Enter, and now I have this ring right here, and I can just hit return again, and it will just keep that perfectly centered right there. And that's what we want. We want that little ring that goes all the way around. If I go and look over here, what I've done is I've added this ring that goes around the cube that way. So we go back to front view with 1. And what we're going to do at this point, in fact, is to delete half of the cube. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect all with the A key. And then I'm going to press the B box select and select just like that, half of the cube, by selecting, going just past the halfway point when you select it. Now I'm going to press X and delete faces. So we're going to delete all these faces right here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to create half of the character and let the other half be created automatically. That's a nice thing to do with a human character and other characters that have that symmetry. So what we're going to do next is go over here on the side over here, and we're going to add this mirror modifier. So we're going to click over here on the right where it shows like a little, looks like a wrench, and we're going to click Add Modifier and go down to where it says Generate Mirror. And now we have the mirror modifier, and we're going to add the clipping option. Click on there and add the clipping option. And just to illustrate how this works, I'm going to press the alternate key and drag down. I'm going to grab this one vertex for a second. Let me just box select that vertex. And if I move this vertex, you'll see it actually moves the other side as well. So if I move this, if I lift it up that way, it's doing the same thing on the other side. So it has a mirror effect. So I'm going to go Command Z out of that. And I'll go back to front view and I'll deselect all. And I could actually press Z again if I wanted to go into solid view. Right now I'm fine with the wireframe. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and add another loop, another ring, I should say. I say ring because it uses the R, but a lot of people will call it loop. So I'm going to go over here, and if I just do Control R, I can hover, and it will, if I click, if I want it to be up this way, which I do, I'm going to click, and then kind of drag the loop to be a little closer to the middle. You'll see here in a moment why. And I'm just going to click again, and there's my loop. With that done, now I'm going to go ahead and go to a user view by pressing, actually I'll go into object mode temporarily, go into object mode, and I can also press the Z key to look at that particular view. If I press tab, go back, then I can see my loop if I go back into edit mode. Okay, so in edit mode, if I want to, I can kind of like look under here. And what we're going to do here is actually go into face select mode. So in face select mode, down here on the bottom, we choose face select. I can choose this face right here, for example. I can just right click on that face. And what we're going to do is we're going to extrude down. We're going to make pretty much like a leg, a set of legs. So if I go to front view, now I can go E and just kind of drag down and just about where the knee would be. I'm going to go shift, alternate, and pan up for a second. Whoops, let me do that again. Shift, alternate, let me give myself some room. And then I'll go E and drag down just above where the knees would be. And then I'm going to go ahead and look from the bottom. So I'm going to go Control 7, look from the bottom. I'm going to press S and kind of scale things in a bit and just do it uniformly at first. And then I'm going to go S, Y, just to focus on scaling in the Y direction and pretty much do something like that. Okay, so if I look from the front, if I go 1, I'm starting to do a little bit of character legs. This is a very, very poorly designed character, but it's going to give you the basic idea. So I'm going to extrude down with E. I'm going to press E, go down, make a little bit like of a kneecap area. And then I'm going to give myself some more room, shift, alternate, and drag up. And then I'm going to go E again and drag down to just where maybe the ankles would be. Look from the bottom, Control 7. And then I'm going to go S to scale it in, and then maybe SY again to pull in a little bit more on the Y. And that's where my kind of ankles are going to be. Now I'm going to look from the front, and I'm going to extrude down again. So I'm going to press E, extrude down again. Now I'm going to, and this is going to be like the foot, so I'm going to select this face over here, right click on here. I'm going to look from the bottom. So I'm going to go Control 7, look from the bottom. I'm going to extrude in the Y direction, so I'm going to go E, Y, and pull out. I'm going to go S, X, scale it in the X direction a little bit, and then I'll look from the front with 1. So what we have right here, if I press the alternate key, I can look around. So pretty much have that. Maybe I'll grab the edge now. I'll go ahead and deselect all. If I just grab this edge right here, so I can put it in edge select mode at the bottom, and I can box select that edge if I wanted to. And then I can just push that edge down on the side. And we have an announcement here. Okay? Okay, so what we have right here is a really, really simple start to a character. And when we start these characters, notice we initially set up our cube to have a mirror modifier. And we start thinking in terms of we do it to one side, it happens to both sides. So this is just the basic idea of getting started with character modeling using Blender in a more pro fashion. Okay, so there we go. Take care.